Most people assume plants just sit there and take whatever comes at them: sun, wind, insects, drought, and they just absorb it passively. But what the data actually shows is that some plants solve the problem of being stationary by evolving movement that's faster, more precise, and frankly more calculated than anything you'd expect from something without a nervous system. We're going to walk through 10 of them today, and by the end, you won't see a single houseplant the same way again. The mechanisms behind this are genuinely surprising. Number 1. Venus flytrap. Picture a snap trap, the kind you'd set in a barn for mice with a loaded spring and a metal hinge. Dionea muscipula does the same job without any of that. No spring, no hinge pin, no stored mechanical energy loaded by an outside hand. So how does a plant close fast enough to catch a fly that could simply leave? Most people guess electricity, and they're not entirely wrong, but it's not electricity the way we usually think about it. Each leaf lobe sits under elastic tension, curved outward like a contact lens, stressed open and holding that shape the way a bent ruler holds its curve before you let go. Number 2. Sensitive plant, Mimosa pudica. Mimosa pudica folds its leaves and droops its stems within seconds of being touched, and for a long time, people assumed this was purely defensive, a way to look wilted and unappealing to herbivores. That explanation isn't wrong, but it's incomplete. Each leaf joint contains a specialized organ called a pulvinus, packed with cells that rapidly dump water into surrounding tissue when touched. The pressure drops, the cells deflate, and the leaf collapses. That signal also travels up the stem through electrical pulses and chemical signals, so nearby leaves fold in sequence even without direct contact. But what the research actually shows goes further. Mimosa pudica can learn, not metaphorically, but in a measurable, repeatable way. Number 3. Telegraph plant, Desmodium gyrans. Now consider Desmodium gyrans, the telegraph plant, which moves for none of those reasons. No prey to catch, nothing touching it, no threat nearby. Its small lateral leaflets just rotate in continuous elliptical loops throughout the day, steady as a clock mechanism, and for decades, botanists genuinely weren't sure why. The leading explanation today is light sampling. The larger central leaflet tracks the sun slowly, but the small lateral leaflets spin rapidly and appear to sample light intensity at different angles, feeding that information back to the plant's regulatory systems. Think of them as rotating antennae scanning for the strongest signal. What the data shows is that rotation speed changes with conditions. Low light slows them down. Strong, direct light speeds them up, so the plant is actively adjusting its own scanning rate based on real-time input. Number 4. Sundew, Drosera. The sundew doesn't snap shut. An insect lands, sticks to the mucus on the leaf surface, and then something slower happens. The leaf starts curling inward, folding around the prey over minutes or hours, and it bends toward the insect specifically, not just randomly inward. Each surface gland, called a tentacle, responds to nitrogen compounds coming off the insect's body. Cells on the side facing the prey elongate faster than cells on the opposite side, so the tentacle bends toward the source. The whole leaf follows through the same auxin-driven process that makes stems bend toward light, just aimed at a chemical signal instead. That curl also keeps digestive enzymes pooled directly against the prey rather than dripping away. Number 5. Bladderwort, Utricularia. Utricularia, the bladderwort, floats rootless in nutrient-poor water and runs what is essentially a continuous vacuum pump across every single one of its tiny bladder traps. It pumps hydrogen ions out of each bladder. Water follows through osmosis, and the result is a pressure differential that stays loaded around the clock whether prey is nearby or not. When a small organism brushes the trigger hairs at a bladder's entrance, the door buckles outward under that pressure and the prey gets sucked in within milliseconds, faster than a water flea can react. High-speed camera studies confirm the door doesn't swing open passively. It snaps through an elastic buckle that amplifies the suction force, the same buckling trick the Venus flytrap uses independently. Number 6. Cobra lily, Darlingtonia californica. Darlingtonia californica, the cobra lily, doesn't grab anything. It builds a room that insects can't navigate out of. The pitcher has translucent patches in its hood that let light through from above. An insect enters looking for nectar, then gets disoriented because the light is coming from the wrong direction and it can't locate the actual opening to escape. The plant then actively twists its pitchers to track the sun throughout the day, keeping those patches lit from exactly the right angle. That's heliotropic movement, the same sun-tracking behavior sunflowers use, but aimed at maintaining a deception rather than feeding the plant. Cold stream water slows bacterial decomposition, so the trap needs to hold prey for days, not minutes. Number 7. Prayer plant, Maranta leuconura. Maranta leuconura, the prayer plant, folds its leaves upward every evening and opens them flat every morning. And it does this on a 24-hour cycle even under constant artificial light. It's not responding to darkness. It's running on an internal timer that anticipates the transition before it happens. The mechanism uses the same pulvinous system as Mimosa pudica, but on a slow, rhythmic schedule instead of a fast defensive response. Water cycles in and out of those joint cells on a clock the plant sets itself, and the research shows the folded position cuts water loss through the leaf surface significantly. That's a daily metabolic cost the plant pays whether conditions change or not. Number 8. Water wheel plant, Aldrovanda vesiculosa. Aldrovanda vesiculosa floats rootless in wetlands across Europe, Asia, Africa, and Australia. And it catches small aquatic invertebrates using snap traps that work almost identically to the Venus flytraps. Same elastic buckling mechanism, same trigger hair system, same two-touch threshold. Two plants from completely different families, separated by geography and evolutionary history, landed on the exact same engineering solution independently. Phylogenetic research confirms the snap trap evolved twice, separately, because both plants face the same pressure. Catch mobile prey fast in nitrogen-poor water, or don't eat at all. Natural selection found the same answer an engineer would. Aldrovanda is now nearly extinct across most of its range, not because the trap failed, but because the water got too rich. Number 9. Creeping fig, Ficus pumila. Ficus pumila, the creeping fig, runs a continuous sensing program through every growing tip it puts out. In open air, the stems stay small and exploratory. Once a tip contacts a solid surface, the whole growth program switches. Stems flatten, leaves get larger, and the plant starts producing adhesive pads that bond chemically to stone, concrete, and brick. Not hooks, not tendrils. A permanent chemical bond strong enough that removing the plant often pulls chunks of the surface off with it. The signal that triggers all of this is ethylene, the same hormone that ripens fruit, and materials scientists are currently studying the adhesive because it bonds reliably to wet surfaces, which most synthetic adhesives can't do. Number 10. Daughter, Cuscuta. Cuscuta daughter germinates with no leaves, no chlorophyll, and just enough seed energy to find a host before it starves. That window is short, so it doesn't grow randomly and hope for contact. It rotates as it grows, and that rotation bends toward the chemical smell of nearby plants before any physical touch happens. What the research shows is that daughter doesn't just find any plant. It orients toward good hosts and away from poor ones, assessing quality through airborne signals before committing to the energy cost of wrapping and haustoria production. Those haustoria penetrate the host's phloem directly, tapping the sugar transport system, and then daughter severs its own soil connection completely and runs entirely on the host's output. Every plant on this list faced the same basic problem. Being stationary costs you. Movement is how they paid their way out of it. Through hydraulic pressure, elastic buckling, auxin gradients, ion pumps, circadian clocks, ethylene signals, and chemical navigation. None of it needs a nervous system. All of it needs energy, so every movement is a calculated bet on a return. Next time you touch a Mimosa pudica and watch it fold, that's a cost-benefit analysis running in real time. It'll stop folding if nothing bad follows, because the hydraulic cost adds up. We've mapped most of these mechanisms, but how plants coordinate information across their whole body without any central processor is still genuinely open. Researchers are actively investigating electrical signaling networks that may carry information across the plant the way nerves carry signals in animals, but operating on completely different rules. The dodder navigates by smell. The prayer plant keeps time. The bladderwort runs a continuous pump, and something is pulling all of that together. We just don't know what yet.